Welcome to Adelante Chicago. I'm Lourdes Duarte. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bienvenidos. In about a month, Lori Lightfoot will take over as mayor of Chicago. She'll have a lot to tackle, from budgets to crime to education. The Latino Policy Forum SYLVIA PUENTE has been appointed to Lightfoot's education transition team. And there you see her. She's joining us with her insight on what we can expect. Always so nice to have you here.
Thanks for the invitation.
Okay, let's start with this transition team that you've been appointed to and what role you will play in Chicago's education system.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm co-chair of the education transition team, so while it's a big honor, it's also a lot of work. We are staffed, of course, by people from the Public Education Fund, but it is a 60-member education transition team. And so our job is really to lay a plan for the new mayor on a lot of the issues that we need to get to ensure that all of our children have access to a world-class quality education. The education transition team is focusing on early education, K-12, and then how do we get that pipeline from high school to college. And we're looking for lots of strategies and lots of ideas.
Always important, always important. Let's talk about how it impacts the Latino community when you know, Latino Policy Forum comes in to address some of the issues that are impacting Latinos here in Chicago. So what will you be doing when it comes to that segment of the community?
With respect to the Latino community, we're very, very concerned about Latino representation in CPS. As we all hopefully know, we are the largest cohort of students now. 47% of students in Chicago Public Schools are Latino. We just did an analysis that said if we were to have equity, we should have 124 more Latino principals.
What's the number right now?
I can't remember what it is right now.
Okay.
But it's very small.
Yeah.
And we would have over 5,000 more Latino teachers. And there is this growing body of research that really says that who your teacher is really can impact your academic education outcomes, right? And so we're not saying that anybody should be displaced from their job, but if there isn't an intentional effort to do outreach, to nurture the pipeline, to get more teachers, more principals, more administrators at every level, then we're not doing right by our students.
Yeah, you have a tough job ahead.
Yeah.
Tough job ahead.
So obviously beyond just the teacher pipeline, what do we need to do to improve quality? What do we need to do to make sure that all of our children have access to early education? What do we need to do? And people don't always realize this, 2/3, 2 out of every 3 Latino students is a current or former English language learner. What do we need to do to have a world-class bilingual education and dual language programs? So there's lots of ideas and recommendations that are coming from all quarters of the city. But I do want to let your viewers know that stay tuned, because within the next few days, we will be releasing a survey where anyone in the public, anyone in our city who has a suggestion, a recommendation, a concern about what to do to improve our schools will be able to offer their input, and all of those responses will be compiled.
Okay.
I want to say too, Lourdes, that I have really been impressed with our mayor-elects. There are over, my understanding is 300 to 400 people serving on the 10 different transition teams that are out there. And the first question they asked us was, in your issue, whether it's education or housing or social services, how do we bring forth the mayor-elect's values of equity, transparency, accountability, diversity and inclusion, and transformation? And for that to be the first question as we consider all of these issues, I think sets a new standard for hopefully how our city will be moving forward.
It sets the tone. One of the other things that we're looking at is the fact that 22%, so that's about 12 to 13 of the aldermen at City Council will be Latinos.
Yes.
Are representing the Latino community and our different Latino neighborhoods. What will that mean in terms of the things that we want to accomplish moving forward?
Well, I think certainly we're seeing a big change. 6 of the new aldermen, not all Latino, are Democratic Socialist. While our numbers only increased by 1 in the City Council, it's 5 or 6 new Latino aldermen. So they're of course going to have to get their bearings and get grounded. But definitely our City Council is hopefully going to be, I'm going to say this, right? Not a rubber stamp. I mean, I think with this new era and this new day of transformation and equity and inclusion, the people, I think, of Chicago asked for change. We saw 2 major upsets in not Latino majority wards that have elected Latino aldermen, both on the north side of the city of Chicago, with new alderman-elect Vasquez and Sanchez, Rosauda. They're both Democratic Socialists. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out in city council.
And I think age plays a role too, because a lot of them are millennials, right? They're very young.
They're much younger.
Before we go, I do want to ask you, one of the things that Chicago has made national headlines for is this whole issue of sanctuary, being a sanctuary city.
Right.
Do you see any of that changing or adjusting with the new administration or even with the new alderman?
No, I don't see that. I mean, I think we'll just strengthen. I mean, our current mayor has been outspoken in ensuring that Chicago remains a sanctuary city. Those that are activists who have wanted to even strengthen the city's ordinance. So my hope is that we'll even strengthen some of the loopholes in the current ordinance so that we'll even become stronger. The mayor-elect has spoken out about Chicago remaining a welcoming city for all residents and all who are seeking a better life.
Okay, Sylvia Puente with the Latino Policy Forum. We appreciate you, and I know we're going to be talking about Latino Unity Day coming up in just a little bit in another segment. So we'll talk to you a little bit later.
Good, thanks so much.
All right, thank you so much. Well, stay with us.